Who is this predator? When he whispers in your ear and tickles your chin with his gun, then you'll find out. There are some questions it's better not to ask, if you want to live much longer, that is. These are the words of an ordinary man, just like you or me, a man who was forced into the Tarkov life very much against his own will. I'm sure we all bear some similarities to him in one way or another. How do you feel about taking a life? Once you've taken one, what difference does it make how many you take? Pretty soon, the line becomes blurred between who you are now and who you were. Morals can change as easily as the magazine and a gun, inside Tarkov, at least. Suddenly, the ordinary man isn't so ordinary anymore. This is the story of one such man, whose own moral decline into the dark underbelly would lead to one of the most notorious and feared legends among the veterans of Tarkov. The Predator. The legend is told by the man himself, a mild-mannered software engineer working for Terror Group named Dennis. He finds himself thrust into the horrifying reality of the Tarkov crisis after being locked away working overtime for most of the initial chaos. When he returns home, he is captured by a scav gang and made to clear houses for any valuables to give to the boss. It's a brutal existence, and he sees death and brutality every day. He goes through many more terrifying and horrific encounters, and this begins to change him. His hideout is raided, and he's forced to kill several scavs. Holding one at gunpoint, he says, "Speak out of line again and I'll shoot you in the fucking kneecaps and I'll leave you here, and by the time your friends come running, you'll have bled to death all over the floor. Not if you understand. Where's your base, and how many people there?" Gabbling and mixing his words, the dickhead hurries to tell me everything he knows. "Quiet now, keep your mouth shut. If you even yawn, you're fucked." So now he knows where the bandits' base is. Maybe he should pay them a visit. At one point, he has a group of armed men trapped on the upper floors of a building. They've been harassing customers of a local shopkeeper, so Dennis offers to try and do something about it in exchange for trade. Since the men don't know how many there are down below, he bluffs them and says he has a whole team of people ready to set fire to the lower floors and smoke them out. They agree a ceasefire and he lets them leave, but only if their boss agrees to a meeting to satisfy the shopkeeper. A meeting is agreed and both parties go on their way. Dennis breathes a sigh of relief, making himself out to be bigger and larger in numbers than he actually is. He continues back to his basement hideout, but gets caught in the middle of a firefight between what we can only assume is PMCs and the scavs. Hiding in an upper floor of his block of apartments, he's cornered and has no way out, just as an unknown PMC trooper is about to discover him. Without thinking, I raise the shotgun and squeeze the trigger. If I hit our visitor, then it's only lightly. Most of the round ricochet off the steps and the bars of the staircase and whistle all around. I probably only managed to get a few pellets of shot on target, but those few pellets hit his hand. He can't hold onto the grenade that he's about to throw. And this time, I feel a lot more of the effect. Fortunately, most of the grenade fragments lodge in the downstairs ceiling, but the blast wave or whatever hits me with full force. I lie on the floor and stare blankly at the ceiling, while my ears just go on ringing. I hope I hit the unknown soldier a whole lot harder. After surviving the onslaught and looting what he can, Dennis examines his haul. Among the various weapons and ammo he's gathered is something special. He knew it when he saw it. Yes, it's a pistol, but it's not Russian made. It's got some weird, unfamiliar high-tech design, and there's an inscription, SIG. Even I know that that's enough to tell me it means a Sig Sauer. I've read something about them. Made in Switzerland, aren't they? How the hell did it end up here? Admittedly, if you've got the money these days, you can buy any gun you want, but still, the silencer. There must be some very special security type of service, the company that the dude with the grenade belonged to. Examining the pistol, I find a button that releases the magazine. It's full. I can see the bullet shining with the oil through the hole in the lower part of the magazine. It's a powerful looking pistol, but sadly in my hands it's nigh on useless. Nonetheless, just the sight of it should make quite an impression. It's not too heavy, and it looks truly terrifying. I slide the magazine back in place, and shove the pistol in my belt. After a few days, Dennis makes his way to the bandits' camp. He infiltrates the block they're housed in to get a look at who he's dealing with. He comes across a man slumped on a couch. He was about to confront his moral choices, up close and personal. "Well then," whines a voice in my head. "Now you've seen the boss. Did you get a good look at him? Are you happy now? Should we get the hell out of here?" We probably should. But that exact moment, the man lying on the couch turns his head towards me. His eyes widen, and his right hand immediately fumbles under a cushion. He almost certainly has a pistol under there, or something similar. He's going to pull it out right now, and then I won't be able to run anywhere anymore. One shot, and the whole crowd outside round the fire will be piling in here. Desperately, I jerk up my pistol, and with a shaking finger, I pull the trigger. I guess I was expecting my gun to fire completely noiselessly. However, instead of spitting out the bullet in total silence, it makes a strange cracking sound. The bolt shoots back loudly, and the empty case flies back into my face. Not into the eyes, thank heavens. Believe it or not, the bullet ends up quite close to the boss. He jerks back and tries to stand up, but I fire a few more times. From this distance it really would be hard to miss. The bandit's body slowly slides down the wall. He never did get out his gun. Everything probably happened too fast. After his accidental slaughter, Dennis makes it back somehow to his hideout and decides to go ahead with the meeting he'd already arranged. The bandit's newly chosen representative turned out to be a skinny guy with a very cunning look on his face. Perhaps he'd been in sales himself at some point. "Alright, Gavrish sent me," he announces as he's approaching. "Good," I nod in answer. Who am I? Who sent me? What should I call the mysterious party who's pulling the strings from behind the scenes to enhance his own reputation? The guy who crawls around and whispers creepily? The one whose bullets sent the former boss to his grave? The one whose orders sent the soldiers to my house? Should I say that that's me, that is? What other brilliant ideas are there floating around in my inflamed imagination? No. Now that I've started this charade, I'd better keep it going. "The Predator sent me. Said I should meet you. Make the introductions and all that jazz." And so, the legend of the Predator is born. From here, word spreads to the rest of the Scav gangs that this Predator is a serious individual. The accidental assassination of the Scav boss, coupled with the chance standoff and the meeting with the same thugs, led to the Predator gaining a fierce reputation, and by extension, lent some protection to Dennis, his supposed right-hand man. Since then, there have been many instances of people causing trouble in Tarkov that would suddenly clear out, with whispers among the men of deaths during the night and a calling card of blue-tipped bullets being left at the scene. Wild stories from lone survivors who swear that an invisible figure stalks them from the shadows, telling them to let the others know what they've seen. One of many such tales. He's terrified. It's hard to understand what he's on about. Still, what did he say? He said something about the Predator or something. Someone who comes at night and kills in the dark. Is he high? It doesn't look like it. Maybe he's confused, or it's some flashbacks from his past life. He does hallucinate sometimes. He's been on drugs for a very long time. I don't have time for his hallucinations or his health. Leave him be. He's of no use to us now. How is it possible that someone got into the tunnel, killed Brother Mikhail and his guard, and took everything that they had in the room? How did they manage to go inside, kill another of our comrades, and take 2 prisoners? Why did nobody see them? Why was there no guard at the entrance? They were changing shifts, so there was nobody on duty for a few minutes. And that was enough time for whoever to do everything that I just said? Did they fly through the air? No, nobody can move that fast. There's no such thing as invisible men. Actually, there is, said Gavrish calmly. I've had chats with them, and I've never seen one of them either. They always show up out of thin air, and disappear in the same direction. They're always behind you, always with a pistol at the ready. Kiryuka, rest his soul, decided to ignore their warning, and they set the soldiers on us. We barely made it out of there, and we left 10 men behind. This legend only continues to grow among the local gangs. Some are wary of the Predator, and some accept his help through Dennis in exchange for goods and services, all none the wiser that they're actually dealing with one man alone. A software engineer who adapted to survive and was drawn into the cutthroat new Tarkov he found himself in. Making alliances with Scav bosses and traders, bluffing being part of a larger and deadlier group of assassins, he has somehow carved out a niche for himself in the decaying urban jungle. Does he still have any morals left, after everything that he's seen and done? Funny how life works out sometimes. Here's a guy who walks the streets with guns slung all over around him, unshaven and mean looking. He drinks brandy with bandit bosses and does business with drug lords. Is he one of the bad guys? Of course he is. He shoots people too. But inside, he's just a scared little bunny. True, he's grown himself a thick, bulletproof hide and some sharp teeth and claws. But has that really made him a different person? Good question, and one that I don't have an answer to right now. This was just a short tale in the Tarkov legend that is the Predator. If you'd like to know more, I'll be making some follow-on content, but I highly recommend picking up the book from the official EFT store. The link is in the description. What do you think about the Predator? Could you see yourself acting in the same way if you were in his shoes? Let me know in the comments.